Hi guys, today we're going to be working with grade 10 fractions. Now, there's a few principles you need to understand and we're going to go through all of them. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of fractions. So the key concepts in this from your other section of maths that you need to be able to understand. One is how to factorize. Okay, and that's all your types of factorization. Another concept we're going to be working with is your lowest common denominator, also known as your LCD. And the third concept that we will also be working with is the reciprocal. And all of these will be explained in the video as we work in through these sums. So let's get right into it, into this first question. Right here. So this is the question. We have 3x squared plus 6x over 6x. Now, for this question, what we're going to be doing is removing a common factor of 3x. If I remove a common factor of 3x here, I'll be left with x plus 2 over 6x. Now, this simplification will happen. The 3x will cancel out. This 6x will now become a 3x. Oh, sorry. This 6x will now become a 2x. And then our final answer will be x plus 2 over 2x. Moving on to the next question. So here we have a longer sum. Something I want you guys to note is when you have a whole number, this whole number is over 1. So we need to find an LCD here. So I'll just draw a long line. And my LCD here, you can find the lowest common denominator, or you can just multiply them. So we're going to work with just multiplying them because this is something you can do for all of them, which will be 4x squared into 12x. Okay, now this is over 1. So I'm going to say 3x. Okay, 1 doesn't cancel out any of these terms in the bottom. So it's going to be 3 into 4x squared into 12x. Okay, minus, I'm going to open this brackets because when you're dealing with a minus sign, it is actually multiplied by a negative. So you just save if you put that negative sign there. So if I have x to the 3 minus 2 into this 4x squared cancels over this 4x squared, and I'm left with 12x. And then finally I'll have plus, and this 12x cancels over this 12x, and I have 4x squared. Now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply all the terms in our numerator. We don't multiply our denominator immediately because sometimes it may cancel off in later steps. So 3 times 4 times 12 is 144. And then I have x squared times x will be x to the power 3. And I'm going to have minus, open brackets, 12x to the power 4. To the power 4 here. 12x to the power 4 minus 24x plus 4x squared all over 4x squared into 12x. And that's then going to give me 144x to the power 3 minus 12x to the power 4 plus 24x plus 4x squared. And I can take out a common factor in this. 4x squared into 12x. I can take out a common factor from these top terms, which would be a common factor of 4x. So I'll take out a common factor of 4x here. It is, go to our calculator and see what's 144 divided by 4. That'll be 36 x squared minus 3x to the power 3 plus 6 plus x. Okay, and this is going to be over 4x squared into 12x. And now this, since all the terms are now being multiplied, this is one term, this is counted as two terms, this would be our third term, and this would be our fourth term. We have 4 terms we're dealing with. Essentially, the one in the brackets we're going to refer to it as a term. So this 4x here cancels off with this 4x here, and I'm left with x. So now I have my answer as, let's put our powers in descending order. So I'll have negative 3x to the power 3 plus 36x squared plus x plus 6, and this is all over 12x squared. Now, when looking at our numerator, is there any term that can go into all of these terms? And the answer is no, because this x has a 1 in front of it. So 3 can't go into all of them. We can't say x goes into all of them because this 6 does not have an x. So this would be our final answer. Third question. Now in this question here, we can see that we have a square. And don't get too intimidated by the square. What we are going to do is we're going to simplify within the brackets first. So I'm going to have this equals, and my common denominator there is going to be 2x, right? And so if 2x is going to be here, this is going to be 4x. Okay, or we can write it as 2x into 2x, which will give us 4x squared, minus, open brackets, 3 plus 4x squared, and this whole thing is going to be squared. So let's simplify this now, and I'm going to have 4x squared minus 3 minus 4x squared over 2x all squared. This 4x squared right here cancels off with this negative 4x squared. And now I'm just left with negative 3 over 2x all squared, which is a lot simpler than squaring earlier on. And now I'll just have 9 over 4x. And that's our final answer. We're now moving into multiplication. And in multiplication, your factorization becomes a lot more important with your cancelling off. So if right here I have x squared plus x minus 6, what I'm going to do is immediately factorize it. Okay, so I'll have an x here I'd have an x here, and I close brackets. Now, what two numbers multiply and give me -6, and when I add them, gives me 1, and that will be +3 and -2. In the bottom, if I had to factorize it, I'll get 2 into x minus 4. I'm going to say that's going to be multiplied into, now we have a difference of two squares, x plus 4 into x minus 4 over x into x minus 2. And now we're going to see where we can cancel off. Now, when canceling off, you can go diagonally and cancel off in either direction, or you can go up and down and cancel off. You cannot go horizontally. So this right here is not allowed. Bad, very bad. So while knowing that, let's see where we can cancel off. We got an x minus 4 here, it cancels off with this x minus 4. We have this x minus 2, cancels off with this x minus 2. Now let's see what we are left with after having it like that. We'll have x plus 3 over 2 times x plus 4 over x. So when you are multiplying, that is when you go horizontally. So when you are multiplying, I'm going to multiply this way and this way. So canceling off is diagonally and vertically, but multiplying is horizontal. So I'm going to be left with x plus 3 into x plus 4 over 2x. Now, depending on your school, they'll tell you how to leave it. You can leave it in this form, or some schools prefer it if you then multiply it out. Over 2x. And then this would be our final answer. Let's move on to our next question. Moving on to our next question. We now have division, and division is where we're going to use our reciprocal. First things first, we must be able to factorize. So when factorizing this, I'm going to have an x, I'm going to have a y, oh, writing too big, yeah. I'm going to have an x, I'm going to have a y, I'm going to have an x, and I'm going to have a y. This is going to be over 2 into x minus 2. Okay, now what two terms multiply give me 4y squared, and when I add them gives me negative 4xy, and that will be minus 2 and a minus 2. And that's how I'd get 4y squared, and that's how I'd get negative 4xy. So, okay. And then now, when we do division, we don't generally work with division, we prefer working in multiplication. So we apply something called the reciprocal, where instead of dividing, we're going to multiply and switch these terms. So what I mean by that is that the x minus 2 is going to come to the top, and the x minus 2y is going to come to the bottom. We have that times x squared minus 4 over 4. So let's first simplify what we can in our first two terms, and what cancels off here is this x minus 2y with this x minus 2y, and this x minus 2 with this x minus 2. And what I'm left with here is x minus 2y all over 2 times x plus 2 into x minus 2 all over 4. Now, is there anything else that I can cancel out? And the answer to that question is no, there isn't anything else I can cancel out. So our final answer here can be x minus 2y into our final answer can be x minus 2y into x plus 2 into x minus 2 all over 8. And if your school likes you to multiply it out afterwards, let's do that. So I'll get x minus 2y into x squared minus 4 all over 8. And then I get my final answer, which will now be x to the power 3 minus 4x minus 2x squared y minus 8y all over 8. And this cannot be simplified any further. So this would be our final answer. So let's just go over these steps again so you guys understand. We had our question here. We first factorize. We factorize into x minus 2y over 2 into x minus 2. That's all correct. We applied the reciprocal, so we changed from division into multiplication and swapped the two terms around, our numerator and our denominator. So then we cancelled off the x minus 2's, we cancelled off the x minus 2y's, and then we went and we checked if we factorize our last term, is there anything to cancel out? And there wasn't. So then we just did our algebra by multiplying out, and we got our final answer. So we're going to move on to the last question now. Okay, we're now moving on to this final one here. So in this question, we need to first factorize this 2k squared plus k minus 6. And let's just go through that factorization process quickly. We have 2k, we have k. What two terms, if I multiply, will give me 6? I'll have 3, and I'll have 2. 3 times 2 will give me 3. 3 times k will give me 3k. 2k times 2 will give me 4k. I'm going to have a plus here and a minus here. So this will be k plus 2 and 2k minus 3. If you don't understand how that method works, please leave a comment down below and I can make a video on it for you guys. So I'm going to have in my first bracket 2k minus 3, and that's going to be into k plus 2. And then here I'm going to have 2 into k squared minus 3. Let's just quickly erase this. And that's going to be times k squared plus 3 into k squared minus 3. And if you look here, we have something that can cancel out, which is a good sign. And then we have k plus 2. And instead of dividing by 2k minus 3, we're going to multiply by 1 over 2k minus 3. And let's look at where we can now simplify. And this k squared minus 3 cancel off with this k squared minus 3. This 2k minus 3 cancels off with this 2k minus 3. This k plus 2 cancels off with this k plus 2. And all we are left with after factorizing with the sum is k squared plus 3 all over 2. I hope this video is helpful for you guys. If you have any other questions, please leave a comment down below and let me know what you want to find out next. Also, if there's any style you guys would like the videos to be done in, I'm still experimenting, please let me know and I'd be glad to improve. All the best, like and subscribe.